the best.
Momo. Well, I did not think that this was going to be the first video we will be shooting this year.
Right, a lot of you know from the posts we did that Momo went to the vet very recently. So when we came back from our trip, I noticed that Momo had a little bit of goop in his left eye at the corner of the eye. And it was like white goop, so it wasn't a normal dirty eye situation. And so the first few days I just cleaned it off with some warm water, and I was hoping that he'd maybe just gotten, you know, some dust or hair in there and that it would clear on his own. But after a few days it didn't, so I decided to take him to the vet to have him checked out. So at the vet they just did the regular checks for if something is in his eye. They also did say that there are a lot of allergies at this time of the year because there's obviously a lot of wind and we have a lot of dust in South Africa. So he basically just put in some drops to get a better look at the lens of the eye. I don't know what the front is called.
Yeah, and I had asked before she left to check whether how good his, or if possible, to check how good his vision is, because we've always had these suspicions that he can't see very well. You know, he'll lose track of stuff while he's running around and so on, and he gets frights when we get new shoes. He doesn't know what's going on, so I thought, let's see if he still has proper vision.
So I thought now is the moment, since he's being poked and probed anyways, especially around the eye area, that they can give it a more in-depth look. And so after having checked the front of the eye and everything was clear there, so we assumed that the goopage was just from a little bit of an allergy or just a reaction to something in the air and so on. The vet had a look at the back of the eye, and he immediately told me, no, there might be something wrong here. He's seeing a lot of red at the back of the eye, which isn't normal, and there might be blood pooling behind both his eyes.
Like hemorrhaging.
So I obviously immediately panicked and I asked him what the prognosis is, that's the word. And he didn't want to commit, so he said, no, I'm not a specialist in this area, so he recommended an eye hospital for animals here in Joburg and told me go make an appointment with them and go have him checked out as soon as possible.
So immediately the same day we made an appointment. We called 12 o'clock appointment at the specialist.
So we drove 20 minutes, which Momo loved. Got to the specialist and they just grabbed Momo and walked off, and then we got to wait.
Well, before he left, the doctor had a bit of a chat with us, asked us his age, why we think there's a problem, so on and so on.
What we've noted, if there's anything specific. He also added some follow-up questions that obviously gave him more information, like does he see better at night or not. And then he took Momo and whisked him away into the back.
And we sat there waiting.
And then the doctor came out. And we'd already, being helicopter parents, had Googled quite a bit and had like prepared ourselves for the worst, because there's cancers, there is...
Basically blood hemorrhaging behind the eye is never a good thing.
Yeah. There's different genetic things, especially with Siamese, that can happen, and that basically mean that he could go blind. So we're like, okay, well, if that's the worst case scenario, we can, you know, make a home for a blind cat, that's not a problem.
But then there's other things like leukemia and brain cancer and all sorts of other more
really,
terrifying
really
things.
serious issues, so we were very worried. And then the vet came back out. And his first words were, "There's nothing wrong with your cat." So yeah, he broke down, he basically came out with a sheet and told us every test that he'd run, and...
He does really cool things. He does like basic things which you can actually do at home. So we're going to run some of them through with you now. He basically holds the cat and moves it towards the table, and if the cat starts pawing out, it knows he knows that it's looking for something, so it'll try and brace itself.
There's a surface to brace against.
Or something simple like throwing a cotton ball, because it doesn't make a noise. If the cat looks, you know it's because of vision, not because of the ears. Covering the eyes and seeing if the pupils react.
And seeing if one pupil will react rather than the other, and if the other, because the nerves are linked, if you cover one eye, the other one should react as well to light and so on. So there's a whole bunch of tests he ran. He checked pressure behind the eye and so on. Everything came back clear. Everything. So even our worries that Momo might not see well are completely wrong.
So there's no excuse for when he gets a fright from new shoes. So, but now the last test that the vet did was he put on some funky lenses and fancy goggles and stuff, and he looked at the back of the eye. Now this is where, you know, the original vet saw the issue.
And basically, we're gonna pop the pictures in for you guys. What he explained to us, and obviously our vet not being a generalist, let's say, and not being a specialist for eyes, saw Momo's eye and expected a normal cat eye, which you'll see in this picture is basically yellow, and then there's some green and blues at the bottom, and that's what a typical cat eye should look on the inside. Now Siamese, because they are part albino and don't have pigments, don't look like that. So in this picture you can now see that a Siamese eye or blue-eyed animals, so it'll also be the same in Huskies and Himalayans and whatever else, the eye is actually where the green and blue is for other cats. It's more of a rusty brown reddish color,
which could very easily be mistaken for a hemorrhaging.
So yeah, if you don't know what you're looking for, and I do understand, having looked at the pictures when the specialist showed us, I was like, that actually makes so much sense, because if I wouldn't know any better, I would also think that this could be blood or be abnormal. So that's what we think went wrong.
Now, all of this cost a bit of a, what's an arm and a leg, but it cost a good penny. This is where your pet insurance really kicks in, because we got, I think, about half of the amount back that we had to spend, or basically nothing.
Just for a diagnosis, well, for nothing actually, because there's nothing wrong.
Exactly.
And that's where also you guys come in, because Momo's insurance is obviously covered through our channel, so thank you for your support, and you were able to help us make sure that Momo's eyesight is indeed very good.
So for all of you that were panicking on the channel, there you go, some good news to start the year with. And please let us know if you've had some interesting
vet experiences where you overreacted and nothing happened, or where you were told something by your vet and then a specialist told you, no, there's nothing there.
And as always, remember to hit that like button, that helps us. And stay in tune, because we're going to have our little holiday video, which was supposed to be the first video of the year, coming very soon. So hit that subscribe button as well so you don't miss that, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Bye!